Hello friends and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to talk about why Formula 1 cars are using a negative camber in the front end. So let's begin.
Formula One cars are designed to have negative camber in the front. It have a magnitude of about 1 to 2 degrees and it have very good effect as well as bad. It will provide better benefits during cornering as well as there will be bad effect when we will go for higher speeds in straight lines. So let's look. Camber angle is the tilt of the tail from the vertical or the inclination that is made by the wheel plane from the vertical. As you can see here, this is the vertical line and this is the wheel plane, and wheel plane is inclined from the vertical. So this is the camber angle and it is denoted by beta. Because of this inclination, if we projected the axis of the wheel or the tail, it will meet at a point in the ground. So the tail will have a tendency to rotate rather than move forward or rearward or in a straight line. So it will there will be an additional force that is making or tending the tail to move in a radial manner rather than moving just in a straight direction, and that force is called camber thrust. And camber thrust will always act in a direction towards the wheel plane from the vertical. So in here the direction of the camber thrust will be from here to here, so it will be in this direction. And in the case the car is moving just in a straight direction, the negative camber of the tail will make the contact patch in a particular point only, so there will be a higher temperature region in the inner side of the tail, and there will be more wear. And if it doesn't choose the camber angle wisely, it will lead to unequal or huge wear and tear in the tail, and it will negatively affect the life of the tail. So due to the negative camber, as I already said, there will be a camber thrust. So it will be act in a direction towards the wheel plane. So this is the vertical line, and the wheel plane will be in this direction. So in this side, the camber thrust will be in this direction. As you can see, it will act in this direction. And for the left tire, the camber thrust act will this direction. And the camber thrust is dependent on two things. One is the vertical load, which is the load of the vehicle that is distributing towards the tire, and the second one is the camber angle. Camber thrust is defined as the product of tangent of the camber angle into the weight of the vehicle that is distributing towards the tire. So the camber thrust will increase when the load increases, and it will also increase with respect to the increment in the camber angle. Which means that if you are moving in a straight line, there will be equal camber thrust in right as well as the left tire. So the camber thrust in the left tire and right tire will equalize each other, and it is both of them are acting in the opposite direction, and they have equal magnitude, so they will get cancelled out, and it will provide more directional stability for the vehicle, so it will move forward without any interruption or without any side thrust. But for a Formula 1 car, it have to negotiate lots of corners rather than straight lines, so the car must provide a better handling when it taking a corner. Consider this car is moving towards a corner in this direction, so the car is taking a rightward turn. So actually there will be a side force that is acting in the lateral direction from right side to the left side as shown in here. So it will lead to a moment that is known as rolling moment. So it will be in a clockwise direction when we look from the front of the car. So it will be in this direction, so it will actually overturn the vehicle. So the weight transfer will be higher in the left side there. So that the weight transfer in this direction, which is WL, will be high, and the weight in the right side will get reduced. So here the WL will be greater than WR, which shows that the camber thrust in this side will get higher compared to the camber thrust in the right side there. To find the magnitude of the camber thrust, we have to find a superposition find a free body diagram. We have to first draw the magnitude of the weight that is distributing to the tail, so it will be in a vertical direction, as you can see here. So this is the left tail of the Formula 1, and this is the right tail of the Formula 1, and this is the load acting and WL. This, and it will be a scale model. So the length of this line will represent the weight that is distributing to the tail, and it is same as in here. So this length will represent the weight in the right tail. So for finding the magnitude of camber thrust, we have to draw the wheel plane with respect to the camber angle that is in the tail. So for finding, we have to draw a perpendicular, that is, I already said that the camber thrust always act in a direction towards the wheel plane. So draw a perpendicular from the line that from the vertical line which through which the weight is actually passing through. So the length of this line will provide the magnitude of camber thrust. So you can see the direction of camber thrust in the left tail is in this direction, and in the right it will be in this direction. So which shows that when the load W increases, the camber thrust increases, and it will also increase with the increase in the camber angle. And there will be an additional force, which is the cornering force, that is helping the vehicle to maintain in the direction of its travel. So it will be in an opposite direction to the side force, and it will be acting in the contact patch. So in the left side there, the cornering force and the camber thrust is in the same direction. So the total lateral force in the left side there will be the sum of the cornering force and camber thrust. But in the right side there, you can see that the cornering force and camber thrust both are acting in the opposite direction, because the camber thrust is in this direction and cornering force is in this direction. So the total lateral force in the right side here will be Fc minus Ft, where Fc is the cornering force and Ft is the camber thrust. So the lateral force in the left tail will dominate when we provide a negative camber in the Formula 1 car tail. It will help to provide a better contact patch in the left side tail. So the tail will tail contact patch will distort like this. So we can provide better grip by providing negative camber, but it will be an opposite effect in the right side tail. Because of the negative camber, you can see the contact patch only in this corner. So due to the weight transfer also, and there will be a lower lateral force, so we will get a very low traction in the right side tail. So it will be always better to provide a positive camber in the inside tail for getting better handling, but it is not that simple actually. But we can see that the weight transfer is always towards the outside tail, so it will actually outweigh the effect of this, because actually the more weight is transferred to the left tail, so we have more lateral force in the left as well, so it will outweigh the effect of low traction in the right side tail. But a better caster angle, by a better selection of caster angle, will help us to give a positive camber effect, or a little positive camber in the inside tail. So we will get a better effect and better grip in the inside tail as well while taking corners. So it will provide better handling if we provide a better caster angle too. So caster angle will also have an effect in better handling for a Formula 1 car. So we have to provide better caster, as well as a good negative camber has a very big and better effect during handling of a Formula 1 car while taking a corner. All these things will change when we accelerate in a straight line. So we have very low contact patch because of this negative camber, and we don't have we have a neutral or zero camber in the rear tail. Way less handling when we go to a straight line with this negative camber. But we have another advantage, that is when we accelerate in this direction, in the forward direction, there will be weight transfer like this. So more of the weight will be acting in the rearward tail. So the WR will be greater than WF, which WR will be greater than WF. So there will be not that much effect by providing negative camber. So we can little outweigh the effect by due to this weight transfer towards the rear tail, and we are providing the torque towards the rear wear tire, so we actually need more traction in the rear tire only, and we have neutral camber in the rear wear tire, so we will get better traction in the straight line also. Let's summarize. In a cornering event, the total lateral force on the outside tire will be higher in magnitude compared to the inside tire, as well as the load transfer during cornering will increase the magnitude of camber thrust in the outside tire, which will help to provide better tire adhesion and higher contact patch area in outside. Outer tire. The negative effect of negative camber in a straight line will be outweighed by the weight transfer due to inertia force during acceleration, because more weight will be transferred to the rear tire where we have neutral camber, so there will be better traction in the rear wheel tire and we can transfer the torque very efficiently. Hope you know the reason for negative camber in the Formula 1 cars tire. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel for never missing an updated video, and thank you for watching.